All right, so I'm going to actually introduce our panelists, and then I'll introduce our host for the panel. But I'll start down at the other side of the row. Actually my good friend Mandeep. Mandeep Sodhi is an actor based in Winnipeg who's been fortunate to work on various areas of filmmaking. I know him actually as a filmmaker, a cinematographer, a writer, an editor. He does it all. He does it all. And he's also the star of an upcoming, several short films, but also the upcoming feature film by Ian Bawa called Strong Son. So give it up for Mandeep Sodhi.
Thank you.
All right. Next up is Alan Castaneda, my name brother. Alan, also an actor member. And Mandeep's also an actor member as well, but Alan is a actor and stunt performer, graduate from the University of Winnipeg, Department of Theatre and Film, and a longtime citizen. And Alan is known for his stunt performer roles in Nobody, Violent Night, Fractured, and upcoming projects The Long Walk and Clown in a Cornfield. Oh, I saw the trailer for Long Walk recently. It looks really good.
Pretty good.
Please give
Pretty
it
good.
up for Alan Castaneda. And probably the person that I have probably known the longest, because when I first started working in film and television, I did background. And the first background casting agency that hired me was Carey Casting. And so that's when I met Leah Aram. So Leah has worked in the Winnipeg film and television industry for over 20 years, specializing in extras casting since beginning her career in 2004, alongside Carrie Rieger of Carey Casting. She's contributed to a wide range of productions, from independent projects to high-profile feature films, dozens of television series, and various commercials. Her experience spans Canadian, American, and international productions. In addition to her extensive work in extras casting, Leah has assisted local casting directors and has also explored principal casting earlier in her career. So, welcome, Leah. Finally, we have my good friend Stephanie Tsai, who is also an amazing singer and actor. As a Filipino-Chinese-Canadian actor, producer, director, writer, born and raised in Treaty 1 territory, her career began on stage, predominantly in musical theater. And a funny story, we did a show together years ago. How old were you? You were like 18, 17? Something like that. I was a little bit older. But yeah, we did a Fringe musical together years and years ago with Joseph Aragon, one of Joseph Aragon's shows, and that was always a good time. Her credits range are ridiculous, and if I say them all, we're going to run out of time. But most recently, I was fortunate to see her do her thing in the MTC production of Waitress, which was amazing.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
It was wonderful. Yeah, and she's been in so many other things. But I'll let you talk about that with Tommy. That's right. All right. Here comes one of our co-founders of Fascinasian and our technical coordinator and all-around good guy, Tommy Intera.
Hi everyone. I will not apologize for my tardiness. I'm kidding. I very much apologize, but don't worry. We have a lot of time for a lot of great questions with our panelists, and then eventually a Q&A from everyone here. So let me just adjust myself.
You want to sit, Tommy?
Yes, I do. Hi everyone.
Hello.
It's me. So, Taylor, can we go black on the projectors for this here? Thank you. Shout out to our house technician Taylor in the back there. Yes. We're working very hard to have all these things working for you and the audio all good. But let's get started right away. We have our first big question, and we'll start from Mandeep. I'll be coming down here. Our first big question is, what's one myth about working in film and TV that newcomers really need to let go of?
Whoa.
Yeah.
I think it was for myself, I'll speak for myself, that I thought it was harder to get in, but if you prove your mettle, it is not. So I teach at the U of W as well. I tell my students the same thing. If you keep doing what you're doing, you'll be recognized, and then it'll be easier for you to step in. If you're not doing anything and expecting something to fall in your lap, it's not a good idea.
I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hello. One myth that I can think of working in industry. I think it's just having that self-belief that you can actually make it. You know, like when you're younger, when you're a kid, you have dreams and whatnot, and sometimes it's hard to believe that, hey, maybe one day I can do something like that, right? So that's one myth you have to, like, I guess, wrestle with. Becoming a performer, becoming an actor, or just working in industry in general. So yeah, just have that self-belief.
I love that. I love that.
Hi, okay, it's my turn. So from my end, from the casting part of it, I would say that the biggest myth in working in film and TV is that it's always exciting and glamorous.
Right.
So there's a lot, as a background performer, there's a lot of waiting around, and there's a lot of repetition involved, and there's a ton of organization that is involved. So really, it's not so much about, you know, standing out or being discovered. It's really about blending in and helping the scene come to life.
Correct.
And it takes a team to make that happen, you know. And, you know, everybody plays a part in that, no matter how small it may seem. So, yeah.
Right.
Whoa.
Wow.
Good.
Yeah.
Right.
So good.
Right.
So
Crazy
good.
over right now.
Yeah, that blew my mind. I would say that like the scarcity mentality is not real. I think that some of us, or I know a big reason why I was able to be so successful in my career is the fact that like I didn't let other people tell me that I wasn't like invited. I think that there's a lot of fear around there being too many of us, or as an actor or as a brown person, you're just like, well, they already have their brown person, or they have that skill set. I think like believing in yourself, like knowing that you're part of the team, and then knowing you can do it, have the ability to do it, is enough for you to say like, I'm worth this. And I think that a lot of us, get stopped even before we've begun because we give those people the excuses. So I would say the myth is like there's always going to be room for you,
Right.
and not to stop yourself before you even started.
Mm-hmm.
Sam, already got a hand
Also, good question. That was a dope question.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of myths out there, you know, for being in film and TV, and you know, I'm hoping we can at least demystify some of these myths, or maybe some self-doubts or beliefs that you may have about being in film or TV. And we'll have to move on to our next question, which is, your credits say one thing, but what's a part of your job that no one sees, yet is crucial to your success? And we'll start from Stephanie. I mean, you can already see, like,
Am I gonna cry during this Q&A? I mean, yeah, that's really cool because I've been thinking about that a lot. Like, I work really fucking hard, really hard. I'm always working. I'm always thinking. I'm always brewing. There's like, you know, there's what people see for sure, and that is part of like the job to present what I've been working on. But I am always working, even when I'm resting. It's very intentional. It's very intentional when I rest and I don't do anything. So I would say that. The same.
I'm not gonna mix it up and go that way.
We'll see. Okay.
Mine would have to be relationships. You know, a lot of people think that casting extras is just about looking for faces. It's really more about finding people that are reliable, that show up on time, that make my job a lot easier. You know, there's a lot of things going on when I'm working between, you know, demands from the director, demands from wardrobe, union rules, and, you know, one thing that really makes it easier for me is the trust that I have in my crew, in the production, and the people that I hire. I know that kind of stuff, that doesn't really show in the credits, but that's, to me, that's everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. It takes an army to make a production, right? So, one part of my profession that it's not really seen, like, I mean, when you get to set and you film your action scene or whatever stunt's going to be, you try to get in the least amount of takes as possible, just so it's easier for the budget, easier for the crew to move on to the next shot. One thing that's not really seen there, even by people who are helping you film, is what we call a previs. It's a pre-visualization of the action sequence that we're about to do. Now, those take a couple weeks or days to do, but it's usually repetition. We're doing the same type of stunt over and over and over again. And for my experience working on Nobody, we were pre-vising the kitchen fight. And there was the stunt double for Bob Odenkirk. He kept kicking me in the chest over and over again. And I probably took like maybe at least 50 kicks one day. Still showed up the next day, obviously, but you don't see that, right? In the fight, you see the action sequence, you see the kick, and boom, move on to the next thing. So that's something you don't see.
Did you have one of those vests on to reduce the impact?
I had some pads on my back. It had very little padding in the front here, so I tried to put a volleyball pad, like try to stick it in there, and obviously he'll hit most of the time, but I took straight up kicks to the chest.
Oh no! Wow.
You get paid for it.
Benji.
Oh yes. Sorry, I was just. Can you repeat the question, please? Oh, dude, that
I heard it
was.
say one thing, but what's a part of your job that no one sees yet is crucial to your success?
Bodybuilding.
Hey.
I mean it.
Yeah.
So, Ian Bawa, my director, shout out to Ian Bawa. I did the feature film that I did. I'm just going to give an example of that. The weights we wanted to get for the shoot were fake. They were delivered to a wrong address. Throughout the film, I lifted real weights. In 19 days, on top of that, I did 1,700 push-ups. And then everything else that was done in the film was real. I also call myself a student of humanity. I'm watching, observing people, sometimes eavesdropping, just sometimes sitting on a bench, looking at people, how they interact, and pulling from that to pull into my performances or in my films if I can. So I'm trying to be engaged, let's call it that way, which nobody sees. But it is produced, or it is to be shown, either by me or by a wonderful actress like Stephanie, on screen, so I can use the right words to describe what needs to be seen, which was observed by me.
Yeah. You're experiencing.
Experiencing, yeah, fully engaged.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh my gosh, you have such an interactive audience. I love this. Man, just for myself, just to add on to that, as also a producer and editor, I think one crucial part, to the success is patience.
Right.
Patience. I think in such a fast-paced environment that we can be in from TV and film, I think sometimes we forget to be, one, kind, and two, patience for each of the roles that are being fulfilled on set or behind the scenes. So patience for sure. Yeah.
Can I just say one more thing?
Yes, sir.
This is a funny story, just 2 lines. I was working out in the gym. This guy who's known me for like 10 years, he comes up to me, he's like, what are you training for? Like, for example, as if the answer would be for a show, for a competition or whatever. I didn't have an answer, and 15 seconds later I said, I'm training for life. If you think about it, right? Because all this will be used, because in the film when we did stunts, I guess, partly we didn't have budget for stunt doubles, partly we had stunt coordinators who taught us what to do, but then I had to go through the motion. If I wasn't training for it, I would be hurt.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love that. Train for stairs, please.
That's a lot of push-ups, man.
Train for
Yeah.
life. Gosh. Okay.
It requires patience.
Which requires patience. It's, you don't just suddenly, get 40 inches of biceps. It takes patience. Our next question is, if someone in this room wanted to get started tomorrow as an actor, extra, stunt performer, anything, what would you actually do if you were in their shoes? This time we'll start with Alan.
Good question.
Yeah, I'd say be aware of what you're capable of in terms of your training. It's something that I think any stunt performer or would-be stunt performer would need to do first. You know, you want to go into a profession with the right types of skills, and you know, considering the danger that happens within certain stunts that we do, you don't want to send someone out there who, you know, is not well trained. So obviously I would invite the person to, you know, come train with me if they could. I train Muay Thai. If you want to learn some of that, you can come see me. Not right now, I'm just recovering. But yeah, if they're wanting to make those connections within film as well, simultaneously take an acting class. Like, there's a performance part of it that is very important as well. So yeah, Muay Thai and acting, I recommend those. Like, you could change the parts, you know, doesn't have to be the same martial art, but yeah, have at least some kind of martial art.
You're writing this down, everyone, or at least having mental notes. These are really valuable tidbits here.
Oh, okay. Well, obviously, if I were to give somebody advice, it would be to, if you're curious about film at all and you're not sure what aspect you want to do, or you know, if you want to be crew, you want to be a performer, a good way to start would be extras, you know, being an extra or a background performer. I would
That's right.
say sign up with any of the extras casting team in town, just like ours, Carey Casting, and you know, make sure that your photo looks like you and be ready to jump when that phone call comes. Being on set is really helpful. It gives you a really good idea of how everything works. You know, a lot of people think, like I said earlier, a lot of people think it's glamorous, but it's really not. It's, you know, there is a lot to learn, and it's chaotic, but it's organized chaos on set.
Correct.
And I've, you know, in the 2 decades that I've done this, I've seen people start as background performers who are now producers, directors, performers, and, you know, all from just being an extra on set. So, yeah.
I can attest to that, and because when did I was in extras for the first time for a Netflix movie. It was called How It Ends, back in 2017 or something. But that opportunity to just observe is so valuable, just from anything and everything. And if, you know, the local crew has a chance to, like, maybe answer a question or two, that even in itself is so valuable. Yeah. Stephanie?
Okay, 3 things, because I think about this a lot, actually. So number one, like my biggest kind of step forward in my career was talking to established artists. So there's so many, I think I speak for everyone in this panel for sure, anyone who is an established artist who is open and collaborative, that they will always be down to answer questions of people who are younger than them, the people who are coming up. Like, I still depend on the people who came before me to help and guide me through everything. To this day, will always be like, what do I do for this? So I acknowledge that and always will be open to anybody who also is younger than me needing to get some advice about things. So that's huge, because that's a wealth of knowledge of things that you don't necessarily have to experience on your own, that you have some guidance from someone who has been there already. I think that's huge, and that's what we're supposed to be doing. It's a cycle of life. It's like, this is how we bring people up. We tell them what we learned. So that's number one. Find people who you want, like you're interested in having their career, and ask them all of the questions that you possibly can. Number 2 is like, I don't remember, so that's it. I think about it all the time, and now it's gone. The thing I was supposed to say.
It's gonna come back.
Oh yeah, like
It's gonna come
live
back.
a life, live a really full life. You know, like I don't want to romanticize like working hard, because because it's not about work. Like when I say I work hard all the time, I'm saying like I work hard, yes, on my career and my craft, but I'm also working really, really hard to find real relationships and like to connect with people and connect with humanity and find out what makes us human and life and the ether, the orbit, everything. I'm working on like just growing and figuring out what I'm supposed to be doing with my life and how I'm gonna enjoy it to the fullest of my ability. So that's number 2, like live life. Like for young artists, go and experience things that are outside of just like being in film, being in theater, being like the career. Like yes, that, but also go on a trip, go camping, go be on a bike, go walk. Like those things are real and they inform your art. So that's really important. And number 3, I would say as a young artist, like focus on your sleep. Like really, really make sure that sleep is a priority so you are resting. Yes, you have to, you guys. If we're gonna live a long life and do good work, we have to get rest. We have to sleep.
Unless you have 4 kids.
No, especially if you have 4 kids. You need to find sleep. You need to go, kids, mom's going to sleep. It's important so I can take care of you guys. I need to sleep.
Don't burn the house.
Okay, those
Very much love that. And just to quickly add on to some of those points. One, our local talent here in Winnipeg especially, most of the time they're super open to give you advice or give some time, which is so beautiful. I've noticed for sure in Winnipeg, like if I want to reach out to someone that I don't necessarily know, but you know, you just shoot your shot anyway, and you know, you never know. Just do that.
Always.
And then also, yes, quality of life. Experience life as well, because part of being a filmmaker or being in this industry is also just your general character development as a person that sometimes we tend to forget. Mandeep?
I would say work on yourself. Because be it spiritual, be it physical, be it mental, have those. Stephanie, you would agree to this. To be a good actor, you need a certain level of IQ to understand and certain level of EQ to emote that. So if you're working on yourself in all faculties, you're ready when the phone call comes.
Yeah.
And answer the phone call. Because the universe is calling. If you don't answer it, it's going to go to somebody else.
Working out for life.
Yeah, working out for life, you know? Yeah, I'm working on life. Yeah, so if you don't work on yourself,
Yeah.
and as your co-stars, people who cast you, people who will do stunts for you, they will get to know how much work you have put in. It's such a human thing. People just get to see that, you know, you're cutting corners, you're just being lazy.
Yeah.
You know? So if you're working on yourself, it'll just shine through. I call it reps. How many reps of the spiritual growth have you done? How many reps of mental growth have you done? How many reps of physical growth have you done, you know? Are you able to run? Are you able to, you know, duck when you have to duck or whatever, right? Yeah, so it's just working on yourself.
Leo's raising hand. There's so much wealth of knowledge here.
We all are. We're all
Taking notes, we're taking notes. Oh my gosh, I love that. Thank
And
you.
can I just add to that
Yes.
too, because I just want to kind of like encapsulate what that does as like a tangible thing. But when you work on things, when you practice, when you have discipline, it only builds confidence, and confidence equals like enjoyment.
Correct.
When you can do something confidently, you can enjoy it just that much more. And that's why, like, that's my motivation for working hard, is not for anything else, but to be like, I want to practice this so much that when I get to perform this, I just get to live it.
Correct.
I just get to
Correct.
enjoy it.
I love
because
it.
That's what the work is for. It's
Mhm.
enjoyment. To
Correct.
work towards enjoyment. So yeah.
I love that. And another addition to that, because
Yeah.
we're just on a great
Yeah.
wavelength
Yeah.
right now, is oh no, I lost my wavelength now.
We're all on the same wavelength.
You're not having enough sleep.
You get it. We'll come back.
If
We'll
it
come
comes
back.
back, I'll bring it back.
Yes, yes.
I guess our next question is whether it's a casting room or a set, what's something you've learned about how people really get hired? And I know we were touching upon that, but we can go a bit more detail on that.
Yeah.
I guess.
Lulia, yeah.
Okay. The one thing that I've learned or I've seen or firsthand that I've observed is that dependability and reliability and good energy really comes a long way in this business. You know, you could have the right look, you could be perfect on camera. If you're someone that is difficult to work with, that's problematic. And you know, You know, for me, I remember the people, and I rebook the people that I know show up on time, understand the process, and is respectful of others. So really, that would be my observation, is that, you know, your looks only go a long way,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
if you're not somebody that people want to work with, you're not gonna come.
I can very much attest to that, yeah. Alan?
Okay. Okay.
Oh, go this way.
Yeah, counterclockwise now. Yeah.
We wanted it next.
Yeah, you gotta be ready. Can you listen to that deep?
Dependability is huge. I mean, I can second that. For getting jobs in this industry, you have to know that you're going to be able to show up on time. One thing I can recommend too is own a vehicle. Owning a vehicle is very key, especially if you need to get to sets that are
Yes, because
very far.
the variety of locations that, you know, that we'll be on.
Oh yeah, and like shows can be filmed downtown or at Tech Walk High School or in Morden. So like, and that's all within like the same week. So owning a vehicle or reliable transportation is something that is something I can recommend. You know, write that down if you can.
Andy?
I think being useful in all situations, you know, offering yourself and being easy to work with is one of the best assets you can have. If you're, at the same time, there's something I had in my mind. Being easy to work with, being useful is really important. At the same time, for me, when I'm auditioning, if it's not believable to me, what can I do to make it more believable? I have to dig deeper. That goes back to saying, I haven't worked on myself enough. You know, if I haven't, I have to take the material and work on myself. You know, and then when the truth comes out, it kind of leads to where it leads to. But again, you know, working on yourself at the same time, being useful and being easy to work with. Because the whole world will complain if they could complain, but you can just, you know, do something with your hands, with yourself to be useful.
And then within that, just like the small details matter. Like in film, it's everything has a purpose and
Correct.
a reason, and also part of that is just how you present yourself and
Yeah.
how you talk to others and everything.
Yeah.
It all stacks up. It all comes
Yeah.
in this economy.
Yes.
You know, when you were, the video that you were editing, that played yesterday with Ian,
Oh yeah.
I was, Ian, hi. Sorry. No, the thing I loved in that when he said there were discussions around getting the lead, and when it came to you, they said Mandeep is easy to work with. You know, it made me smile. I'm glad the world sees that way, and I hope I can carry that throughout my career and even after, and even other areas of my life. You know. Yeah.
I agree with all of this. I think the moment I was really that it really kind of clicked with me is like for auditioning and in life. I just think the moment you can take out the transactional aspect of it, that
Correct.
you're going in, I'm doing this so that I can get this from you, then that's when everything you have the liberty to do to just be you.
Correct.
So people can feel that when you audition and you're like, I want this from you, I want this with you. People feel that. So if you go in saying like, I'm gonna present to you what I've practiced, what I've rehearsed, and you either like it or you don't, then you can move through the industry in a really healthy way, because it's not about getting something from someone, it's about presenting what you've been given to your, like what you're giving.
Correct.
And then like there's no pressure, and then you can connect, you can try, like you can really make a connection. I think it's really important to like to be excited about the work that you're doing, because people feel it.
Oh yeah.
People, when you watch something live, music, whatever it is, you can feel the energy of people having a good time, and that's what like we're like, as like, because I've also casted things, like I've been on the other side too, just to be like, I'm just looking for someone who like who cares?
Correct.
Who cares enough to do a good job, who's disciplined enough and is authentic. So, yeah, when you take out the transactional part of it, that's when it becomes free and real.
Absolutely.
Also,
Correct.
can I add to that?
Please, please.
Also, when you're open, because you talked a lot about being open and like loving what you do.
Correct.
When you have that attitude, it really does show from like the casting part of it, and you're more open to the adjustments,
Yes,
right?
yes,
You're open
yes,
to
yes,
suggestions,
yes,
and
yes.
you're in the moment.
Yeah.
So, you know, the casting directors see that part, and they want to work with you because they know you're open.
Mm-hmm.
Collaboration.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're telling them.
Absolutely.
Collaboration.
Definitely. If I may add, like your attitude towards it too plays a lot. Like being able to play well with others and within a team. I mean, someone may have all the skills in the world in terms of martial arts style, but if they're a dink, like, you don't want to work with them, right? So,
Correct.
So just be nice to people. You know, be aware that you're part of a collective. It's not just an individual
Yeah.
type of thing.
Yeah.
The process is hard enough as it is. There's so many moving parts.
Correct.
That, you know, if you have people, your people that are really easy to work with, it just makes everything so much easier.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And for myself to add on to that too, we're just on a really good roll here, is that, you know, for Mandeep, when you mentioned, you know, that you were easy to work with, in general, just to be easy to work with is just an overall great thing. But it also doesn't mean that you should be a pushover.
There's a
Per
balance.
se, there's a balance to it. You want to do your best, but you also don't want to be, you know, pushed around and feeling demeaned about working in the industry because you have to go through this kind of pain. That's just how it is in our industry. Just keep that in mind as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's about being respectful and kind is the thing, you know, like that's not rid of being honest and setting boundaries for yourself. Like it's about being open and a collaborator, but to be open and a collaborator, it also says that like, I'm gonna also tell you the truth when I need to, and I will let you know when I'm not comfortable with something. That's part of the openness of a collaboration. So that's not to say that like it's not. Those are all the same thing. Like it's like do not be a pushover because
Yeah, but people respect you more
Exactly.
when you appear competent.
That as well,
right?
yes.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Confidence that
Correct.
comes with it.
a really good thing to know.
Mhm, mhm.
It needs to be clear that those two things aren't the same.
Agreed. How do you stay creatively alive? You're gonna love this question. How do you stay creatively alive and emotionally grounded during the quiet seasons? I'll start with this one here. For myself is just that personal time that I have for myself, whether that is getting coffee with a friend, I'm going for a walk, reading a book, just learning, but not with the intention of working, but just living, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, who's ear to ear? Let's answer next. Who wants to go?
I mean, honestly,
I second.
that's all I do.
The work outside of work is like is connecting with nature. That's number one.
Yes, in this world of
Yeah.
cell phones
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
being indoors all the time.
Yeah, I get off my, yes, I definitely am trying to like break up with my phone a little bit because it is, especially when your work happens on the phone, but I really am like, trying to break up with making connection with people over the phone. But connecting with nature, I would say, is number one because that's where you're going to rejuvenate and like, just stop. And I also have the most amazing dog. Her name is Pancake. She's a cockapoo, and she's amazing. So honestly, it's like my breaks are her.
Mm-hmm.
I can take this one. I really lean into time with my family. I
That is so
mentioned I
important.
have 4 kids,
Yeah.
a partner and 4 kids, and they're adorable. They're 11 to 15, all boys. So they're a lot of fun. But you know, in this industry, what I've found is that you have to take the the time off when you can.
Yeah.
It really is very unpredictable. You know, my family helps me recharge, but I also think that, you know, being grounded, or, you know, one of the things that I do to keep grounded is family, all the things that you guys mentioned, you know, nature, all of that. You know, it's not really, rest is not really a luxury, it's more of a necessity. Because especially if you want to keep those
Write that down,
creative
write that
juices
down.
flowing, right?
Rest is not a-
Well, yeah,
yes,
no, I
luxury,
mean,
it's a necessity.
you have to rest so that you can stay creative, right? Especially for a lot of you guys, so, yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
You got to recharge those batteries.
Absolutely, yeah.
They're very important. Sleep, rest, naps. Naps are great.
Yeah.
I think too, to stay, I guess, creative within the stunt space. I don't know. Maybe stunt performers may have a different answer for this, but there has to be a chase for a near-death experience that kind of drives you. Like for myself, I love fighting. My parents are here. They don't like it very much. I really like sparring. I haven't sparred in a very long time. I'm recovering from another near-death experience, but anyways, there's something that's so visceral when you're up against someone and you're like testing your skills that you don't feel anywhere else, and it does like kick up those juices, like those creative juices in your brain, and you know, translating like actual technique into choreography is sort of like is part of that process for me. So get into the ring and just beat someone up, or be beat up. You know, like have yourself be beat up. It all leads to experience, and that's what I can say about that.
I can attest to that, honestly. The first time I sparred with a friend, like first time ever, I think we were doing just like some regular sparring for boxing. It was I don't know how to describe it. You'd have to spar to understand that feeling that you get of testing your ability and seeing how many hits you can get or how much you can dodge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very visceral experience, and it's not for everyone, but if ever you get a chance to train and get into the ring and throw some punches and kicks, it's quite fun.
May I just add too that I think the like feeling that that can bring can be found in anything that forces you to have laser focus, like engage.
Yes,
like it's
yes,
like
yes.
it's a do or die situation. You either like you have to be in it. So I just think that feeling can be achieved in other ways, but it is just about finding something that like makes you completely present, and you cannot be not present. Like
Right.
it's just. It's meditative, right? Like anything that's going to make you stop and only think about what's in front of you. So whatever that is.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And the three of you just said what I actually do. It's extreme physical stress and quiet, lone mental time. When I'm pushing my body to a certain limit, when I'm actually blacking out, the little voice in your head quiets down. The one which says you can't do it is not there anymore.
I agree. Yeah.
And I write, when I'm in my downtime, I write, and the best thoughts arise when the little negative voice is quiet down because of the physical stress.
Oh, absolutely.
So if anybody wants to work out with me, like Ian does, you're more than welcome, you know. but it's pushing yourself, like you say, Spark. You're pushing yourself to the limit with laser focus, and you're able to achieve something that you thought wasn't possible.
Yes.
Now your brain knows you can go out in the world and try something you haven't tried,
Yes.
and you might be good at it.
Correct.
You know?
Correct.
Yeah.
Once I'm well enough, I'll train with you.
There you go. Good. Okay. You got it.
It's gonna be the next part of Fascinasian. It'll just be a class with men.
Oh my gosh. Everyone, are we enjoying this panel so far? What do you think? Amazing. Well, we have one final question, and then we'll have a Q&A. If you have any pressing matters, we'll get to it. But to close it off, what do you wish more local performers understood? Not just about the industry, but about themselves. Maybe we'll take a moment to
Wow.
take that in, and I'll just say the word.
Yes, please.
Good.
What do you wish more local performers understood? Not just about the industry, but about themselves.
Yeah, Maggie.
Stop chasing stardom and do the work. And I'm sure everybody in this room who's an actor will agree, when you do the work, everything else is a byproduct. So, not saying everybody thinks like that, but if you're doing it for the money, like you said, they're not connecting, there's a transaction, right? If you're doing it for the money or you're doing it for the fame, and that's the first thing that comes out of your mouth, or you keep repeating that, then that's what you're chasing. That's what you define as success, you know? If you say, I'm doing this for the piece, like for example, yesterday somebody asked me, what are you doing right now? I said, I'm writing a book. He said, why are you writing a book? I said, it's screaming to come out of me. And it's not me. If I don't write, when my kids sleep at 11, I'm writing till 1 because it's screaming to come out of me. So similarly, when you're performing something with all your heart, it shows, and that's what you're chasing. Everything else is a byproduct, you know? Yeah.
Oh man, all said.
Yeah. I don't know.
I agree with you, Maggie. Like, you got to put your whole heart into it.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, and be proud of like creating art like this. Like, what we do is art, right? You know, I agree that, you know, it's not about chasing fame or stardom. You really do got to put in that work in there, work hard for it, and there's a lot of sacrifice that comes with it as well too. Sometimes where you know, you may have a really good job and an opportunity comes your way, and you say, "Okay, I'm gonna do the movie instead." You know, like you may come to those points of your life where you have to give up something that is very, you know, safe, and risk it all for something that, hey, this may never come around again.
Yeah.
Maybe there's going to be a pandemic around the corner. Who knows?
Right.
You take those opportunities, right? So,
That's correct.
Yeah.
You have to repeat that question again.
It's okay. It's a question
I mean,
of.
I get the gist of it.
Yes,
but I
yes,
still
yes,
need to
yeah,
hear
you
it
want it,
again.
yeah, you want to hear it, you want to
I'll
hear
do it in a British accent.
Please do. And action.
What do you wish more local performers understood, not just about the industry, but about themselves?
Okay, so I wish that more performers, especially the ones from the underrepresented community, understood how much they matter and that there is space for them. From the casting side of it, I've seen firsthand how a scene can come alive or it can look very different just by adding in diversity, adding in people that actually exist in the world that we live in. You know, it's I was 12 when I came to Canada, and growing up, I didn't really see people that looked like me on TV or movies, and that's kind of what drives me today. Is that I really, you know, when I sit, I don't have a lot of power. Let's not get crazy, but when I'm sitting with directors, you know, that little, hey, what about this person? What about having this kind of look? You know, I feel like it's sort of, that's kind of my goal, is to make it so that, you know, we can make it look more realistic, right? I mean, you never know, there could be a kid out there that's watching that could think, hey, you know what, maybe there is room for me, you know?
I was that kid.
Yeah.
Nice.
We all were. We all were.
Yeah, we all were one time. You're right.
Just looking
Right,
for
Stephanie.
us up there.
Yeah.
Representation, right?
Representation.
Oh, I forgot. These are all so good. I
Repeat the question in a
yes.
Scottish accent. Okay, Filipino?
anything, whatever. Whatever you got.
I'm gonna
Oh,
do
he's
it.
like, no, I can't.
He's on the spot.
Okay, why don't you do yes, yes, yes.
What do you wish more local performers understood,
Thank you.
not just about the industry, but about themselves?
Okay, this is so good. I still don't remember, but
Here it goes. I'm just going to start talking, and then we'll see what happens. This is it, because it's local. Because your question was very specific about Winnipeg. The thing that I want to say is Winnipeg is the most amazing place in the world.
I agree.
Okay, so it's the most amazing place in the world, and there's a time I forgot it, and there will be a time maybe I don't know that I'll forget it again. But I feel like everyone who's from here or lives here or has come here will eventually like come to a place where they're like, there is a glass ceiling, and yes, there are. But this is like the training grounds. This is the training grounds, and I really, really believe in this city. And we have incredible talent. We have good people, we have hard workers, we have kind people, we have passionate people, and nobody knows it yet, okay? So I really like, the thing about like the locals right now is we all need to get on board with like Winnipeg and coming together and working together, because we are going to be the hub that people want to come to, because we're just like full of good, hardworking, talented people. Like people, we don't have to get on the map. There's no need for the fame or whatever.
Yes.
It's just like, we all need to get on board. The people who are on the ground right now, we need to all just say like, Winnipeg freaking rocks. And,
It does.
And we're all gonna sign a contract that says Winnipeg rocks, and let's just do the thing and make it good.
Yeah.
Make it good.
Copy
Making what's real. Okay, let's open it up for some questions. Stephanie, I'll take your mic and I'll run it.
No!
Take mine. Take mine. Yeah, take mine. Take mine.
No!
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Any questions from the audience? Any pressing matters? Oh, yes, we have one right there. Can you do a backflip?
No. But yeah, I just want to say thank you all for taking the time, and it's been really inspiring listening to you and hearing your stories. My question specifically for Leah. When did you know you wanted to be a casting director, and did you have to like start at the ground and just run around and do all sorts of things?
That is a very good question. I fell into this, much like a lot of people that kind of fell into the industry. I was just talking to Alan about this before this panel started, and I've been doing this for over 20 years. And back when I started, it was still, I had to do the legwork and actually look for people and like ask people, no, really, I'm an extras casting director. Can you please be in my? But I just fell into it. I was dating a person that was in the industry at the time, and there was an opportunity for me to jump in, and I was 22. I'm like, I'm quitting my job today. So let's do it. Let's start it. And together we kind of like formed a team and paved our way through this crazy industry. Like Winnipeg doesn't work exactly the same as other cities in terms of background casting, because we don't really have we don't have like talent agencies here for extras. So a lot of the work is done by myself and my partner, my business partner. So we kind of had to invent the wheel. So it's been a really interesting 20 years, and really, I can honestly say that I still love my job to this day. It gives me the freedom to be with my kids. It gives me the freedom to be creative, even though it's not the most creative, per se, of the industry. But yeah, to answer your question, fell into it. It's not, the way that a lot of people probably think, but if you do want to get it, if you're interested in that aspect of it, I would say, look for somebody in the same industry, have a conversation with them, and figure out what you can do to get in as well. So hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Another question from the audience? Oh.
Yeah.
I think that's for you. I don't want it.
I'll take it over. I just wanted the mic. No, I have a question for Alan. But with this nobody story you told, where you getting like kicked in the chest 50 times, assumption is you were fine with it, like you were okay. I'm assuming 'cause you said it. But is there a point when you're not good anymore, where you're like, wow, this hurts and I can't do anymore? And if so, who do you talk to about it? Is it like the stunt coordinator or the director, or like what's the chain of command in the situation where you're getting hit so many times and you go, I don't know if I can do this, or I don't know if they need to lighten up, or like do you talk to the stunt guy that's kicking you and you go, hey man, that's too much? Like how does it work?
Oh yeah, it's a good question. It's a lot about just being open with your communication with your team. who you're working with. Like, after that 50 kick sequence, you know, like, I asked the stunt double, whose name is Tyler, I asked him, like, hey, it's a bit rough on the chest there, eh, bro? and then like, yeah, he's like, yeah, man, like, he took it easy after that. So as long as there's an open dialogue between both parties, that sort of like helps that situation out. Like, obviously it's part of the job to take the bumps, but just communicate. That's it.
Jeez. And one final question. We'll take one final
From
question.
Alan.
Which is down here. Alan Wong, our president and festival director.
This is a question for Stephanie. So, you know, you're probably one of the few Winnipeg actors who work a lot outside of Winnipeg as well. And I know that, you know, you talked about how wonderful Winnipeg is, and obviously it's true. We all know that's true. You're still here. You know, you like I also moved away early in my career to try to, you know, work in another center, but came back as well. But because you're in this position of working across the country or wherever you are, at what point in your career did you find that it changed from just being sort of like a Winnipeg actor to becoming like an actor in like the Canadian or the North American landscape?
So the question is like, did I like acknowledge a time where I was like a not just a Winnipeg actor? Is that what your question is?
Well, kind of, yeah. But not so much your own acknowledgement of it, but what happened in your career where you saw that shift happening, where all of a sudden you were getting calls to work in other districts.
Oh gosh, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm still there. I don't feel like I don't know. I'm just like trying to put my head down and do the thing and then see who wants it. And I don't know if this is going to answer the question, but I just definitely feel like this is where I'm developing myself. This place is where I'm developing, and then I'm sharing myself to other cities, and I rep Winnipeg hard. Like, I only talk about Winnipeg when I'm at other places. I love when people ask where I'm from, because I'm like, I'm from Winnipeg, and now I'm going to show you what Winnipeg's made of. So I don't know, that's kind of like a real motivation of mine, is always just like Winnipeg. I don't think I'm an artist from anywhere else. I'm not. I'm not a different artist outside of like being a Winnipeg artist, because I need people to know that this is where I was made, and this is where I choose to live. Like, people are always like, why do you live in Winnipeg? I'm like, you don't know Winnipeg. Why are you asking? Why are you asking? If you knew Winnipeg, you wouldn't ask me why I live in Winnipeg, you know? So I'm like, I will fight you. I will fight you to the death. Like, truly, don't ask me why I live in Winnipeg. Anyway, but yeah, like, so like I consider myself a Winnipeg through and through, born and raised artist, and I will never be anything else. I will go other places because I want to learn more from other people. I think it's a trap to say like, this is the best, this is all I ever want to do is live in Winnipeg, learn from people in Winnipeg. I think that's a trap, and it's unhealthy, and it can be toxic. You need to go to other places to learn from other people who have experienced other things by living in the city that they live in, and why they feel proud of the city that they live in. It's like it's community, it's collaboration, it's learning, it's growing, it's like taking the hits from other places so that you can learn how to grow and be here, because I like really want to build here. This is my home. This is where I'm not gonna die here, but I will. Like, I do want to be here for a very, very long time. Yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah.
Everyone, please, a round of applause. That concludes our panel session here. We'll be moving on to our shorts program 3 that is coming up in half an hour.
Can I just make one note too? Like I would say to just if there is anything that you're hoping to gain outside of this, that like follow and support us. You know, the people and the people around you, like follow us on Instagram. Make sure that you're like up to date with what we're doing, because it's like this is, I guess it's a little bit of a plea, but it is like, I think like my reach is like, I want to do this. I really want to do this for us, and it helps to like feel supported in that way. So that it keeps it growing. You know, like support. Go and send people to Leia. You know, send them to Alan. Send them to Mandy. Just like support us, because you know we have to support each other.
Yes, correct, correct. Yes, lovely, lovely.
Back on. I love that. Thank you. Thanks for asking that. Okay, yes, we'll be moving on to our shorts program 3 in about 15 minutes or so. And we're going to have a group photo
Should we
here.
stand, or do you want to sit?
Sit, okay.
Sitting like we're cool.
I'll take 2 from here, and then afterwards I'll for social media.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And just hold on to it.
Oh, yeah.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I just have to.
We love the 1, 2,
1, 2,
3.
3. 1, 2, 3.
I prefer the countdown. So.
Yeah, yeah. Don't blink your eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you.